Well, we're sure looking forward to going back to Georgia. The people of Georgia were so kind to Jamie and I when we were there for 4 years, and Kirby and obviously have a lot of good memories about him and the way he treated me and the staff, the camaraderie with the staff. And we've got an outstanding football team, and I think everybody knows that. Very physical, play extremely hard, obviously well coached, and but we're looking forward to going over there and seeing where our team is this week, and we're excited about it.
Coach, any update on how KJ's feeling? He's got to be pretty sore, I guess, and Traylon also.
Yeah, you know, he's sore. Traylon's sore. Obviously we played some good football teams and physical games, but I think both of them will be fine. They may or may not be able to go full speed today, but I don't think it'll be a problem for the game.
This is kind of a random question, I guess, but I felt like 2 years ago they said in a couple of years we're going to make an emphasis on knee pads, on like wearing those down over your knees, but nobody's doing it. Everybody's wearing it high.
Well, and the thing is, the knee pad's about that big around too. I mean, it really is. So I'm not for sure how much protection it would have, even if we pulled them down further. But it would have some type of protection there. He just caught all his weight on it, trying to basically get down, but, before the benches over there, and just had a nasty spill on it. We're very fortunate there's probably nothing worse that happened to him than what happened.
Coach, a lot of people talk about they knew you would turn the program around, but they're surprised they're 4-0 in year 2. How much did the hitting on those 3 defensive line transfers and the super seniors coming back and kind of having the attitude that they have and the leadership and ability, how much did all that play into it, Coach?
A lot. I mean, I think when you have kids come back, there's twofold there. Obviously you have some experience coming back, but you want them to come back better. And I think our kids that played last year are playing better than they did last year. Right now, the portal's a scary deal. I think the one thing you want to do is when you go in the portal, is you want to see kids that have played at this type of level. With Utsi and Trey Williams, we saw them. I mean, we saw them play in the SEC. Now, Ridgeway was a different story. He was at a smaller university, a good university, but and playing really good ball. We went on his athleticism and his size, but we had no idea about the kid's heart. And he one of the finest kids you'll ever meet, and he plays hard. And so those were all big hits for us, because that's where we needed the help there at the D-line as far as depth goes and as far as being able to rotate. And I think that's really helped us.
Sam, I think I got this right, that Georgia lost 7 stars on defense. So, they're Georgia, so they're going to be good. But you assume that they'll take a dip. It looks like they're better than ever. What are you seeing from their defense, and why do you think they're so good after, filling so many holes?
Well, their D-line, they have, so much talent on the D-line, and certainly are big, physical. It starts with Davis and Carter, and I mean, Nolan Smith and Walker, and I mean, they're very, very talented. They rotate guys as well, so they keep them fresh, and then you go back and the linebacker, and they have Quay Walker and Dean and Brini, and they can run. They've recruited really well there, and so they're going to have depth, and that's just Georgia, and hopefully Arkansas will get that way here soon in the near future, where somebody leaves and next guy steps in. He may be as good, he may be better than the guy that left, but that's where Georgia is, and that's a credit to their staff and Kirby for recruiting.
And this is going to be, the first road game Arkansas has played full capacity SEC since you've been here first time. Some of these guys have never been through an experience. What are you anticipating from that road experience? And does kicking off at 11 a.m. help a little bit, just because the fans don't have all day to get, tanked up or whatever?
Well, number one, I think us traveling last week to Dallas, I think that helped us, because we've gone through the process of, AJ Green had never flown before, so we went through the process of how we travel. That's one thing that you can't do. Certainly we had several different, well, I think we went almost a week where we practiced in the morning so we could be ready for an 11 o'clock game here, 12 o'clock, obviously over there in Georgia. So those things I think we're prepared for. The crowd is going to be incredible there. I mean, it's college game day. So I think last week helped us a little bit because half the crowd, was against us. We know we'll get 93,000 folks there at Georgia. They support the program big time. And so we know it's going to be extremely loud, but I think last week prepared us a little bit for that. And then of course it's going to be louder than what it was last week, but we did a pretty good job with that besides down on the goal line last week there on that 3rd and 1.
Sam, you were complimentary of your assistant coaches on Saturday, but I want to ask you specifically about Barry and Kendall.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the multiplicity of Barry. Is anyone else doing it kind of like this? I mean, what's special about having to prepare for different things every week? And then for Kendall, they talked about isolating when they saw that Traylon was isolated on the corner and KJ looked the safety out. Just what is it about Kendall's game planning and game calling that's so special?
Well, let's talk about Kendall first. First of all, he's fearless. I mean, and everything that he calls, he thinks going to work. Everything. It's not a question in his mind that, they're going to press Burks and KJ's going to throw a wonderful ball and he's going to outrun everybody. I mean, there's not a question. It's kind of neat to be on the headsets and hear them talking about, pre-snap, this touchdown, and it's kind of cool. So that's number one. His offense is quarterback driven. So if the quarterback's playing well, you're going to make yards, assuming your line's doing a good job. And as long as he's reading, we have the perfect guy for us in KJ that can throw it, that can run it. He's a big guy that can hand it off. So, the thing I didn't know about Kendall Browse is when I hired him was what a wonderful person that he is. And I've been very fortunate to be around him and learn things through him as well. Barry, they roll out there in whatever front they want to, depending on how they can win the football game. And what's happened, I was talking to Trey Williams last week, and he said, it's kind of amazing how we can line up in this look, that look, this look. And all of us believe this is the way that we're going to stop our opponent if we'll play hard and we'll play fast and we'll run to the football. And so it's very unique ability that Barry and his staff on defense have to make our kids believe that whatever he decides or whatever they decide, whatever we decide is going to work. So it's really cool, but it has to work for the guys to buy in, and it's been working really on both sides of the ball ever since both those guys have been here.
I know you played Kirby last year, but I wonder how much of his style, whatever, rubbed off on you. Like how much have you adopted from his ways, I guess?
I've learned, I learned a lot from Coach. I mean, a lot about practice organization, about assistants. I don't know if pressure is the word, but putting demands on assistant coaches to be the best they can be. Obviously, recruiting, and coaches. All he wants to do is win. I mean, now he's going to treat people right and all that. I don't mean that. I certainly don't mean that. But he's at his alma mater, and he wants to win for the state of Georgia, University of Georgia. And I mean, you got to respect all that. And his kids, they play extremely hard, and you don't find many teams that are playing extremely hard that don't have high respect for the head coach. And they do. And I was very fortunate to be 4 years and learn from him.
Coach, Felipe was really good last year.
throwing deep balls. And this year, KJ, I think, is over 70% on similar throws. What do you credit that success to, and just what's the importance of him pushing the ball down the field?
Well, I don't know what you credit the accuracy on long balls. I played quarterback in seventh. I went from right guard to sixth grade. I was right guard. Seventh grade, I was quarterback. And we really didn't throw the ball deep. I was more of a rollout guy. So I really don't know exactly, on the long balls. Here's what I do know. You put enough air under it, we got guys that can go get it. And, if you win off the ball and you put enough air under it, we've got guys that'll go get it. We practice it a lot. The one with Burks was there was a guy right in KJ's face. They had done a TE twist and the end came around on us, and it was an aggressive set. So you're going to have a little vulnerability with your O-line because you're trying to jump set. And then when they twist, it was an aggressive set, but he made such a really nice throw there. And I don't really know, probably Brow's doing a really nice job of coaching those guys up on the deep ball. And you asked one more question, and I'm sorry. I think it's very important. I think there's a lot of things that KJ does that's very important. One of them is throwing the football, having the threat to get people out of the box. If you're going to man cover us and press us, we have to have receivers can get off press. But then the other thing is that he puts pressure on defenses by running the football. And for us and what we do, he's perfect for what we're asking our quarterbacks to do.
When you left here in 2015, kind of what attracted you to Georgia, and also how was it difficult persuading Scott Fountain and the strength coaches to come with you when you came here?
Well, I left. I don't want to get into that really, but once I decided, once I told Jamie that that's what we were going to do, at that point in the business, once you tell somebody you're leaving, you're leaving. At that point, it's just, there's no, hey, let me think about a couple. It's once you say that. So I had said that. And the thing that attracted me was, if you remember, Georgia won the national championship in 1980. And that's the year I graduated from high school. And it was Herschel Walker and all those things. And Georgia had this program that was, an elite program. And part of me thought I'd like to experience, those things of going to national championships and those things. And big part of it, they were in the East at the time. The East wasn't as powerful as the West. So there's a lot of things that went into that. I forgot the second part of it.
It was about persuading Scott.
Oh yeah. Jamil and the staff that he brought with him wasn't quite as difficult because, we were going to give him a heavy raise, and he was going to run the program. He wasn't, he was his number 2 guy over there. So that was, and Kirby certainly understood that. Scott was a deal that I was, a little surprised that Scott decided to come at the time, but, I'm very happy he did. I don't know what his conversation with Coach Smart was or anything of that nature, but certainly was happy that he decided to come over.
Coach, to follow up on what Tom asked earlier, as an offensive line coach or from the offensive perspective, how difficult is it to prepare throughout the week to prepare for a defense like what Barry runs, where you don't know if it's going to be a 3-man front or a 4-man front?
I think it's very difficult, because you can waste a lot of time. I text Dan Lanning last night, and I told him he doesn't need to put any more blitzes in because we can't run them all anyway, and it's sort of like that's still the same way. And he'd sent me back 11. He drew it on a piece of paper and sent me back all 11 of them rushing, and I said, hell, we've already seen that blitz, but it's kind of the same way with Barry. you wonder what he's going to do. So you have to, I'm not going to say waste, but you can waste some reps because you're not sure, are we going to be in a 4-man? Are we going to be in our razor set? You know, are we going to be in a true odd? Are we going to be in our mint front? And so I think it becomes to our advantage, just like you're wondering what Coach Lanning and Coach Smart's going to do in their third down blitz package. You can't practice it all. You just have to guess.
Coach, how, if at all, is preparation different in back-to-back and back-to-back-to-back travel weeks, road games? How is preparation different for you guys?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question, by the way. And I'm more concerned about the heat. You know, last week, because right now we can't get away from the heat. You know, our indoor is not air conditioning. I'm sure it will be. That's my plug, by the way, and heat. So we can't get away from the heat. That's the most concerning thing, more than even the travel. We caught a break with this game being at 11, knowing we have to go on the road again next week. I thought that was a break for us. It could have been a night game and back at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I thought that was a break. You still have to play Georgia when you get there, but ours was the heat. So we're going to go inside. We know it's hot on the inside, but it's not, at least the sun's not beating down on you in there. Now we've got our fans fixed and all that, so it should be a lot better there. But you know, our deal is we're going to be conscious about it as a staff, and rep wise and heat wise. Our players won't think about it because, you know, we again, I don't believe we play the schedule. We just play somebody this weekend. This weekend has to be Georgia.
Coach, you mentioned in the preseason that at some point during the season, you're going to need Malik to get in the game, and there it was. What are your thoughts on how he played? Where can he improve, and how beneficial was it for him to get those meaningful reps?
Well, it was big time beneficial. I mean, next time he goes out there, you know, and he had been in a game or two before that, but not in those circumstances. You know, the other thing too is we've got to throw the ball when he's in there. You know, I know what Kendall was doing, and I know he probably felt like I was like, don't throw the ball. You know, we've got the lead. Let's see if we can run it, use him as a runner, things of that nature. And at the first play, you know, I think he went for 15 yards or whatever. Then you know, he rolled to the left and threw a nice pass there for a completion to, I think it was Traylon Burks. And so the next time we've got to, instead of having a package for him, we've got to run our offense. And I think that really helped with his confidence. He was the happiest guy on the field after the game. So he's really handled all this well, which I have no reason to believe that he shouldn't. But, you know, you certainly can handle it in different ways, and he's handled it great.
This is definitely a Monday question, but I was just curious. Dominic Johnson, I don't think he got into the second half. Was that just a limited number of reps in the first half for y'all, or did you want a fresh back in the second half? Or?
No, we need to play him. And it wasn't, you know, when we have our meetings, you guys know we have our meetings on Saturday morning. And when we have our meetings, there was nothing said that, hey, let's hold him, let's this, that. No, it's just kind of how it worked out. You know, AJ, we had some special plays for him per se. And then, you know, if you look at it, Rocket didn't play a lot when Malik was in there. They've had some exchange issues. And so that, you know, they've got to get that fixed. But there was a reason why Five didn't play quite as much either.
Trying to snag my question on Malik, but hey, so last week was a hyped game. This week is 2 top 10 teams. So more hype. How have you and how the program, you think, dealt with more and more like media pressure? And what do you think about being the number 8 team?
Well, media wise, I think we still got the same folks in here. I'm good there. You got a few, you know, you got a few more. I did CMT. That was awesome, by the way. And who else I do, Kyle? Last week was kind of cool. Who? Oh, College Game Day. And it's fun. I mean, it doesn't, none of it affects our preparation, or we won't do it. We've turned down several different things. The kids, I'm very conscious about their time as well too. I just think we've proven for a long time here, or since we've been here, that none of this really affects us. I mean, it's nice, dude. I'll say it again. We're 8th. Yes, I'd rather be 8th than 80th. And, but I mean, it's not like, oh, we should be ranked 6th or, oh, we should be ranked 12th. None of that. I mean, we're not the rankers. I have my form, whatever it is, that's fine. It's fun for the fans and all those things. But I don't really think it affects us, to be honest with you. I really don't. I mean, when you go and play Texas and A&M and all these, and then the next week you play Georgia, the next week you play Ole Miss, next week you play Auburn. I mean, it's hard to get the big head. I mean, because someone's going to knock you out if you're not prepared for them, and our team understands that.
Grant also said Saturday that this is the reason why he came back for 6th year. And he said, you ask any super senior, this is why we came back. What is that statement, I guess? Mean?
Everything to me. I mean, you don't want someone to come back for a lesser experience, so it means everything, and it means everything for him to say it. I mean, because he's like a little bit like me. He don't say things that he don't believe, and if all of them feel that way, then that means everything to me.
Yeah, Sam, last year when you guys played Georgia, Daniels had not been cleared yet. Now, obviously, he's their guy, and I guess he's gotten over whatever was sidelined him. But what do you see from him, and how much tougher are they with having an established quarterback like that?
Well, Stetson Bennett led them to a lot of wins last year too, and Stetson's a really good player and brings something else because he can run the football, or so can JT, but they'll design a little bit different play when Stetson's in there. But if you give JT time, he'll pick you apart. He throws any level of football great. And in other words, he can throw the long ball, the intermediate, he can throw on the run. They run a lot of nakeds with him. So he's really good. Bowers, they use the tight end as good as anybody in the country. He's a really good player, young too. But I just think the team is confident in JT, and I think they play that way. They've been protecting him really well, and he's been lighting the scoreboard up.
I think you said on the game day package last week, the loudest you are at practice is when the team does something good. Is that something you adopted from a coaching role model of yours out of curiosity, or is that just the way you are? Where does that philosophy come from?
It came from when I was younger, when I'd go to other practices and I'd be wowed at what was going on at practice. I don't think you can reach your full potential out of fear. I think you can out of want to. And because if I'm getting ready to take a rep and I'm worried about the coach chewing me out when the rep's going on, then I'm not going to play as well, in my opinion. I may be totally wrong. But if I believe that coach has confidence in me and that he's taught me what to do, I can at least go try at my highest level to complete that task. And that's what I believe. And I also believe that if someone brags on you and somebody else hears it, they want the same thing. And it kind of gets contagious. Now, you guys have been to practice, I get mad and all that, but most of my disappointment is effort. I'm not disappointed if we get whipped. We can teach them how to do better, but effort is what gets me. And if we give effort, we got a chance.
I know you can't talk specifics, but I'm wondering with this start, how's it being received by recruits, and have you noticed an uptick in interest in the Razorbacks?
Sure have. We noticed it after week 2, and then we've noticed it after week 4. It's certainly an exciting time to recruit to the University of Arkansas, and it kind of solidifies our belief in what we can do because we're the University of damn Arkansas. And with that said, it's going over to the recruits more and more. You still have to beat every college in the country on the guy, but it's fun to be legitimately in the conversation. Thank you, guys.